really funny how timing is so bad, but it's so close to the beginning that I'm anticipating. And so when I'm out of the dead zone, just hang tight. Because I have feelings about this case, and if you follow me on X, I've mentioned it a little bit, and I've been hitting things in comment sections and stuff about it, and I have a lot of feelings on the matter. You see, there's an interesting hair parsing with the conversation, because the conversation is a poisoned well, right? It's the false binary is within the argument. On the most crude level of the argument that each side is hearing is that too many women are crazy and rallying around making their crazy normal, and want to normalize a mother's choice, her sole choice to kill her young children, right? This is just, yeah, you're watching a ritual being made of this trial. A ritual which is asking for your blind consent to human sacrifice, right? And we're pretending, for the sake of philosophical argument, that we don't understand how that is moral. Now, the only reason why we're having that conversation is because of satanic principles, because everything gets framed in warring against all the problems those people who believe in God created, right? Not God, but the people who believe in God, which then gets into how they characterize God and how we came to that characterization over antiquity. And I think that your civilization can descend into an anything goes madness, right? That was the message of the times we have been living in, that are coming to an end, because this was a mere season of giving a public that does not believe that the public could be mad, and showing the public that the public is wrong, that it can be mad, right? So if you have any level of individuation, your heart can play on a certain level, because you're talking about a human being getting the chance to interfere with the natural course of life, and saying that she has the right to do that because the world rationalized it to her, that I'm supposed to be permitted to do this because of what you did to me. What you did caused me to be like this, and what you did caused me to be like that, right? Now, the other side of the crudest form of this argument is that she's just an evil bitch. right? And that she's evil, and that the harshest penalty that that state has for murder applies to her. And of course, unfortunately, this is where the right is going back into neoconic arguments when it gets like that. That's your neocon argument. That's your argument that's dismissing all this shit, right? Then you have the feminist argument, which has infected women of neocons as well. There's an example made of the women of Fox News having their little conclave discussion about it on air with, they're not making radicalist proposals, but they were in complete sympathy with the mother. To the point where these women would not have any integrity to stand up against the women complaining about this. Why? Because as women, that's the big part of their concern. That's the thing that marks them as the fucking homemaker. These are the quality how a woman marks the world around her is the way that you fucking understand her fucking worldview, what she's going to be like as a person in your house, or you in her house if you're gonna be a fucking guy in that situation, or it's both your house. Can we fucking see? Right? So that's some of the extremes that people are feeling and why they're feeling that way. You can get a lot of understanding from this with someone who may or may not agree with me. We are friends either way because that's how professionals work. Shout out James True, had a very compelling conversation on James True channel, or James True Live, about the subtext of what we're doing having this conversation. Right? Because at the end of the day, this is about why are we having this conversation? This conversation's normally, nobody's arguing about this, right? So what's the thing about it that we're not arguing about, right? Because in this kind of woman's hysteria, there's always truth in a woman's hysteria. It doesn't all come from nothing. The lie is her understanding of it. She's shouting out in pain over the thing and using the only words she's ever learned in her life to express that about it. And that's all that she's fucking doing in reality. That's what that whole fucking that's the performative fucking female for you right there, right? It's when all the sisters get together, they start yelling in the woods and beating the hell out of trees and shit. It's just like in the forest, it's just like, I'm for rest! For rest! It's in my name! This isn't restful! I'm restless now! I'm conjuring up a hurricane on you! Anyway, so the females are restless. The women folk are amiss. And so I'm sitting there and hold on a second. The right is ignoring one argument on the left that is legitimate. That's what's pissing me off, because this is what the right does. This is just what the right fucking does. They're more concerned about fighting the left than actually addressing the problem underneath it. Right? So nobody wants to talk about the issue with SSRIs regardless, because you're also lying to yourself if you're not at least questioning the fact that she's on SSRIs and antipsychotics or whatever. Oh, and she's a fucking nurse. That's a fact I heard, right? Like, maybe somebody lied to me, maybe somebody was throwing up a different case. but with the same situation. But either way, right? Apparently everybody was supporting her. So if those are facts, if that is not non-contended facts that are part of her premeditated murder, it could be, you'd say premeditated madness. Like, madness isn't always just while you're angry. It's just, we got madness with, I was angry and I lost my mind, because it's got the word mad in it. Okay? No, this is about everything wrong with your logic and where you go with it. How the fuck do you have no impulse fucking control? How the fuck do you look at a world and say, hold on a second, adoption is a thing. Hold on a second, I could divorce my husband and throw the kids on him. No, she had a fucking excuse. She thinks her whole world is evil and nothing in the existential world could save her children from the evil she has delivered it to. Okay? And now, younglings, ones that have no agency, don't even have any of their incoming physical strengths. Ability, like, was one of them so young they were still baby speaking, basically? Like, yeah, like, you're talking about extraordinarily healthy. Strangled to death by a nurse that in her madness believed it was for their own good, and we're not going to talk SSRIs. We're not going to talk about Teva Pharmaceuticals, because, I don't know, somehow some Jew thought we were blaming the Jews or something. And then I looked into it and I said, well, Teva Pharmaceuticals kind of puts a lot of SSRIs in the U.S. market, I noticed. So you can look into them. This is one name. I have no fucking idea who made the drugs she was on. I have no idea what the interests of her fucking pharmacist was, of her fucking doctors, of her fucking... of anybody in her family, if she had any prior agreements with family, what necessities for her job were, which maybe didn't involve taking the drugs, but she had to take the drug because she believed she needed it for her job. A lot of women do things they think they have to do because you led them to believe that they have to do it. There's a lot of women out there that believe laws exist that don't exist. This is a real fucking thing. I once had a woman in my Uber, a black woman, who allegedly was like a babysitter or an au pair or something for a prominent Democrat politician or something like that, and said there was something about specifically Donald Trump, even though this well precedes Trump in politics, but it's specifically Donald Trump, and something racist about Donald Trump, and it was why her and everyone she knows is in the position that they are in. And then I remember having a good assessment of the situation at the time and giving her a brief synopsis of what was in authority over those principles she just had given me. And then I sent her on her way because it wasn't a very long ride. Being an Uber guru was wild back then. I would never do it again. Never again. I mean, unless I had a second car that I only used, that I only used for basically Uber. But doing that during the pandemic, which was much later, because I did that all throughout the Trump administration. Um, yeah, it was quite a it was quite a learning experience from meeting so many people on that level. Sorry, probably trying to connect to my Wi-Fi because I'm just at home. Um, it does that automatically. I can't turn it off. Um, damn it. All right. Yeah. So my point is that with this case, it's like me as an Uber driver, um, getting to know who and how and what people really are, right? And knowing the difference of who they really are and who people think they really are, right? Um, Men are being wise. They're catching warning signs. They're seeing the support network for this, and they're fucking cutting like it was MGTOW 2. This is like MGTOW 2. You know what I mean? I don't know who the hell is cultivating um, this kind of consensus among women, but if we're lucky, those people won't be with us anymore to cultivate it. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in.